Hi there, I'm Aisling from Agence Neil. Today I'm going to run you through a demo of HubSpot CRM and Sales. So firstly, what is HubSpot? HubSpot's an all-in-one platform built off the CRM at its base, designed for sales, marketing, operations, customer service, and web teams, all to work off one platform and one single source of truth. The power of HubSpot lies in a centralized database. It ensures a smooth handoff between teams and that everyone's on the same page. So in the demo today, we're really going to look at the HubSpot CRM and the tools that are relevant for the sales teams out there, so sales reps or sales managers. There are lots of other hubs that you can add on to HubSpot, but today I really want to give you a feel for what it's like as a sales rep working in HubSpot. So the nice thing about HubSpot CRM is that there's a free version. I'd highly recommend you to download the free version of the HubSpot CRM, as I think it gives you a really good understanding of how the system works and allows you to get a feel for the different objects, the setup, and get started with all the tools that you see here. So with the free tools, you'll be able to import all of your contacts, manage them all from one database, share contacts between teammates, and track your customer communications. From there, you can then build on and add the sales productivity tools, which are really designed to go further and to get more out of your CRM. So the HubSpot CRM is designed around objects. So there's different types of objects in HubSpot. You have contacts, the individuals that you're emailing or calling, and then you have companies, the companies at which those contacts works. So if we take the example of Agence Neil, you might have 5 contacts for Agence Neil in HubSpot, each with their own contact record, and they would all then be associated with one company record. The other objects that you'll be looking at in HubSpot are your deals or opportunities for tracking your sales pipeline projects, and tickets if you're on the service side of things. So here in the contacts view, you can see all of the contacts in your database, and here you can customize what fields are important and that you want to have appear. So maybe it's the name, the email, the telephone number. These columns are completely personalizable for your team, so you can have what's most important appear right here. If we then go into a contact record, to show you what it looks like, we'll go into me. So here's the contact Aisling in HubSpot. We'll look at this contact record from left to right. And what's important to note is here we're really going to focus on a contact record, but ultimately the way it's laid out is the same for other objects in HubSpot. So be that companies or deals, it's the same. If you understand it on a contact, you'll have no bother navigating around the other objects in HubSpot. So on the left-hand side, we have all of the information that we have about the contact. So that's the information either that we import or that we find as we're talking to them. That might be their email, their first name, their telephone number, their job title, their sector, and it also might be information that we use for segmentation. So for your team, you can decide what is the important information that every sales rep wants to see when they come onto a contact record. And you can basically set this up either for the whole team, or each sales rep can personalize it further. If we then move across to the center, we're in the activity feed for the contact. So here, this is really all of the historical activity that you have with this contact, be that emails, calls, tasks, meetings, notes, anything that's gone on with this contact should be logged here. And this is really useful if you have different members of your company that might be coming onto this contact. You might have an account manager for sales, and then you might have someone in the operations team that's coming to look at past history for orders that have been taken or deliveries that are due. The right-hand side of the contact record is where we have all of our associations with other objects or elements in HubSpot. So we can see the company that's associated with this contact. We can see any deals or opportunities, past or current, where this contact has been involved in them. And we can see any attachments that we might have. So they might be past quotes or past documents that were shared with the contact or with us. As a sales rep, you have all the tools directly in HubSpot to be able to communicate with your prospects. So I've connected my email in HubSpot already. I can therefore click on email here. And if I want to send an email to this contact, I can type in my email and send it directly from HubSpot, or I also have the option to use the template library, which is really helpful if, like me, you're sending similar emails to prospects regularly rather than having to copy and paste or rewrite the same message 10 times. You can find the email that's suitable for the contact, and you can personalize it. Then you already have the kind of base and you can just personalize it for that contact and send. I also have in my Gmail, I've connected the HubSpot extension. So from here, if I send an email to someone, I have the log and track boxes. So the log basically is what allows my email to be logged directly onto the contact record in HubSpot to keep that trace in the CRM. And the track is a really useful feature for salespeople. It allows me to see, has the person opened my email or clicked on the links that I've sent in my email. But as you can see here, I also have the sales productivity tools that I had directly in the HubSpot CRM. I can get access to my template library while I'm in my Gmail. So I can find that email that I was looking for, and I can put it in directly here as well. Or if I want to go one step further, rather than just sending an email to my contact, I could enroll them in a sequence. So sequences are a tool in HubSpot that allows sales rep to automate their follow-up. We'll take a look at this one here. The idea being, often as a sales rep, I highly personalize the first prospecting email that I send to someone, but the emails that I send as follow-ups often follow the same vein, whether that's because I want someone to reply to my first email or to follow up about a quote that I send. It typically tends to be quite a similar message. And so sequences are perfect for helping me to make sure that I follow up all of my prospects and that nothing falls through the cracks. So I build on the templates that we talked about earlier. We have a first email template, which will be sent to the contact. And then what's important is this next step. So I can decide what's a suitable time period before the next step is taken. So I would like in 3 business days that there's an email follow-up sent automatically to the contact. And you can change, how long that needs to be for you. Then if the contact doesn't respond to my email or book a meeting with me, there'll be another step to my sequence, which is a task. So at that time, I'll have sent 2 emails. It's time for me to give that person a call and see if I can't get them on the phone. And so the sequence will continue as long as the person doesn't reply or book a meeting with me as a sales rep. You can also use another really nice feature is the documents tool. So maybe you're sending a quote to someone, or you're sharing sales documentation and you want to be able to track whether that documentation is being viewed and reviewed by your prospect. So if you upload those documents to the documents tool in HubSpot, you then have the tracking with that document. So you'll be able to then call the person at the right moment because you know that they just looked at your quote, for example. So as you can see, whether you're working in Gmail or in HubSpot, you have the same tools available here, which is really useful because it means you might be working from your Gmail inbox in the morning when you come in, or your Office or Outlook. You can use those as well. When you come in the morning, you might be working through your inbox. And then as you're doing more sort of outbound prospecting, you might be working more from the CRM. And either way, you have everything tracked in both places. Another great feature of the HubSpot sales tools is the meetings tool. So here you can sync your calendar with HubSpot, and then you can share your meeting link with prospects or customers in your emails. And that way they can find a time that works for them based on your availability. So it really avoids the back and forth that you often have trying to suggest times and find something that fits with their schedule. This way you're making it easy for your prospect. It's just one click. They can see when you're available. They can choose the time that works for them. And then you have a form here to get the information that you need in order to prepare for that meeting. So when you're on the contact record, we've already looked at emails, tasks, meetings. We've talked about documents. There's a couple of other features which are pretty useful as well. So the calling tool in HubSpot allows you to log your calls, but also to make phone calls directly from the contact record. So I really like this feature. You connect your phone number here, and then you're able to make your call and log your notes directly. So you can choose what was the outcome of your call. Did you get through? Did you leave a message? You can leave any notes that you want. And if you need to, you could create a task to follow up. So let's talk a little bit more about tasks. I think any salesperson would love to think that every time that they give someone a call or they send an email, they'll manage to get through to that person right away. But realistically, we know that it often takes quite a few follow-ups. Maybe it's not the right time, and you need to have a way of remembering who you need to contact next week or the week after. So in HubSpot, the tasks tool makes that pretty easy for you. So you can come in here and create a task. Give it a name, something that you'll know what you have to do. You choose when that task is due. So is it a week from now? Is it on a specific date? And at what time you want to get the reminder? And then you can choose what the type of task is as well. So I know for this task, I need to give that person a call. If it's high priority, you can make that high priority as well. Fill in your task notes and create your task. So I'm going to have a task due in a couple of days to give this person a call back. When I come back onto the contact record, the task will still be here. The day of, I'll receive a notification up here, the notification center in HubSpot. And I can also come across to the tasks tool, which allows me to see all of my tasks that I have for all contacts, companies, or deals. So I can see them all in one place, and that way I can go through my to-do list in one place as well. The last piece on the activity feed that I wanted to highlight is notes. So the notes section is really useful if maybe you want to make a note of something that you learned about the contact that you think could be relevant for your future conversations or for other people in the company. For example, I just found out that they raised 100 million in funding. So I think that's an important note. What I want to do, I'm going to pin this note, and that way it's going to appear on the top of the contact record. So regardless of what activity might happen in the meantime, every time that me or one of my colleagues comes onto the contact record, I'll see this note right up the top. You can also use notes for for your own internal communication. So if I want to let my colleague know something, I can just find that user in HubSpot and write the note. And if I save this note, my colleague Marique will get a notification to come onto the contact record and see whatever information I want to share with her. So a really good way for sharing information between teams or between colleagues if you share contacts as well. One more really nice time saver when it comes to note taking in HubSpot is the Snippets tool. So Snippets are blocks of text which are pre-built or which you can build in HubSpot. So to give you an example, you can use them often for more junior sales reps where they're taking their call notes. The snippet can give them a good guide to make sure that they're getting all the information that they need. It can also just be a shortcut to help you to fill in the information that's necessary. So you can build your library of snippets in HubSpot, and then that way you can use them for notes, for emails, for call notes, whatever that might be. So once you've identified a new project or opportunity with a contact or a company, it's the time then that you can create your deal in HubSpot and open the deal and put it into your sales pipeline so that you can then follow it along your sales process. So over here on the right-hand side of the contact record, we have the deals section. From here, I can see that we had an existing deal, which we lost. And from here, I can create a new deal. So creating a new deal is really easy. You just have to give it a name, choose the pipeline that it's going to, the deal stage that you're in. So are we at the very beginning of the sales pipeline, or are we already further along? You can choose the deal stage and create your deal. So as you can see here on the deal record, it looks very similar to the contact record. Like I said, they're organized in the same way. So we have all of the information about the deal on the left-hand side. And then in the activity in the center of the deal, that's going to be any activities that are related to the deal itself or the contact or company that are associated with the deal. All of those activities will be centralized on the deal record as well. Over up here, we have the deal stage. So the appointment scheduled is the first stage in my pipeline. As the deal is moving through my sales process and advancing, I can change the stage directly here to move it along. And if I come out of the individual deal and into the deals board, here we have our sales pipeline. So here I can see all of my deals in one place, and I can see at what stage I'm in with each deal. I can also see the amount forecast for each stage in my pipeline. I have my deal here as it's moving along. I can also move the deal card directly from one stage to the next, and that's going to then update the deal stage. So this is the entire pipeline. I could also come in here and filter by deal owner to just see my deals, for example, or as a sales manager, what can be quite useful is to be able to review the deals of an individual sales rep when you're doing maybe your one-to-one or your sales review, to come in and look at their deals in more detail here. So being able to filter makes that pretty easy for you to see how an individual sales rep is doing and what deals they're working on. We're in the board view here, which I like because I think it's quite visual. However, you also have like a table view for deals. So I know some people are maybe used to working in Excel, and this is a kind of similar way to working as in Excel, in that you decide what information you want to see here, and you organize those columns so that you choose, whether it's the close date, what information you want to see. You'll personalize this here. You could also export this view if you wanted to share it via an Excel file with someone that's outside of HubSpot. I think when it comes to sales managers, what's very important in a CRM for a sales team is the sales reporting functionality, and to be able to report and measure your performance. So with HubSpot, you can easily build dashboards for individual sales reps, for them to be able to track their own progress, and for sales managers to be able to report on the performance of your team and how you're doing against your KPIs. We have a couple of example reports here that I think typically speak to salespeople. So we have the deal revenue forecast. You can see how much has already been closed, how much in total is in your sales pipeline, and where the deals are in the different stages, how much they're worth. We then also have the activity leaderboard. So this can be useful, especially maybe for more junior sales reps, to be able to track how many emails, meetings, calls they're making every month. And then down here, we have the deal leaderboard. So to be able to see the performance of each individual sales rep and how much they're closing. So we have a reports library in HubSpot. Very easy for you to build reports, just choosing what's there already. And then you also have the possibility to build custom reports if you want to maybe build reports very specific to your own KPIs and your own way of working. So the last thing I want to show you is the possibility to automate in HubSpot with the workflows tool, and how it can help your sales reps to make sure that nothing's falling through the cracks and that they're following up all of their opportunities. So we have quite a classic sales scenario here. I've sent a contract quote to my prospect. My deal is in the contract sent stage of my pipeline. If we look back on the pipeline here, we can see the contract sent stage. And so basically I'm at the stage where it's either going to be closed won or closed lost, but I need to hear back from my contact to know what's going to happen. So depending on how long your sales process is and how long typically you think a deal should stay in the contract send stage, you can always adjust the time here. But depending on whatever that delay is, you'll then have a check. So after 5 days, I want to check, is the deal stage still in contract sent or not? If it's moved on, there's nothing that needs to be done. The deal has either gone into closed lost or closed won. It's all fine. However, if the deal is still in the contract sent stage, then there's a couple of possibilities. Perhaps it means that the sales rep has not followed up with the contact. We don't know where they are with the contract, in which case the sales rep can have a reminder by email, and they'll then think to give that person a call or send them an email, or maybe they could even use a sequence or a email template to do that follow-up. Or perhaps the sales rep has actually just been too busy, or it's slipped their mind and they haven't updated the CRM. The internal email notification will just give them that reminder to update the CRM, and that way you're sure that your CRM is true and up to date. The automation possibilities with workflows in HubSpot are endless, but I hope this gives you at least one good example of how it might be able to help sales reps follow up their deals and make sure that they're closing as soon as possible, as well as keeping a tidy CRM. So like I said at the beginning, today's demo was really to show you the basics of the HubSpot CRM and the sales tools, which I think would be useful for any sales team out there. But there are definitely a lot more possibilities with the sales tools, as well as with the other hubs in HubSpot. Even with sales, you could think about sending quotes from HubSpot. You could look at how could HubSpot help you to coach your sales team. So I would definitely say get in touch with us. We can understand a bit more your goals and challenges in your team and company today. And from there, we could put together a more personalized demo. But that being said, I hope that I've given you a good overview of the potential for sales reps to use HubSpot day in, day out, and that it's whet your appetite for the tools. Thanks.